Good day to everybody. Flavio Ramella still here to you. Today we are going to talk about European SMEs policy. Why I'm starting with European SMEs policy? I'm starting with the European policy towards SMEs for the reason that Europe is the geographical areas where you find probably the greatest number of SMEs. And I would like to share with you a few concepts, starting from what is SMEs meaning. You know, SMEs has different meanings depending where you are. It's not something that is yet totally agreed all over the world. And we are going to use the concept that is, and the definition that is used within European Union. So within European Union, enterprises are divided by categories, and medium-sized enterprises are those which are employing less than 250 people, and they have an annual turnover of maximum 50 million euros. While small enterprises are those which have less than 50 people on board and annual turnover being less than 10 million. And then micro enterprises are those which are employing less than 10 people and have an annual turnover of 2 million. I decided to state this as one of the suggestions I'm passing you is that in your country, somebody at government level has to define what SMEs are. This is important for a better reciprocal understanding within the banking industry and from the enterprises. If I am an entrepreneur and I am reading that there are funds available to SMEs, I should be sure that my enterprises is among those which can get benefit. Okay, so first issue, it is necessary to define clearly what SMEs means in your country. And now let's start. Outline small and medium-sized enterprises. I said already, small and medium-sized enterprises are in Europe being considered those which have maximum 250 employees and an annual turnover of less or equal to 50 million euros. We are going to see SMEs policies, meaning what the European Union did and does in favor of SMEs, which are the principles governing the policy of European Union towards the support of SMEs. Small and medium-sized enterprises. As I mentioned before, in European Union there are something like 23 million SMEs, and they represent 99% of all European business. 99%. Virtually, it is, apart from public bodies, all the GNP of Europe. They provide 2/3 of the private sector jobs and contribute to more than half of the total value added created by business in the European Union. I mean, these are very important figures. 50% of the value added. You could imagine what is in absolute terms. 50% of the value produced in European Union is made up by small and medium-sized enterprises, by private entrepreneurs. Something still very, very important. I said that small and medium-sized enterprises are important, but based on figures, micro-enterprises are really very, very important. Micro-enterprises, 9 out of 10 SMEs are actually micro-enterprises with less than 10 employees. So we are talking about artisan, we are talking about family business, we are talking about situation where few people are creating really great economies potential. SMEs policies. Now we are going to briefly come across to what are the most recent policies approved by the European Union towards SMEs support. In 2008, the European Commission published a Small Business Act for Europe, SBA, to promote SMEs growth. This is something that was approved in 2008, which is still running, and it will be running till 2020. Principle. The principle governing the SMEs growth within the European Union are basically 10. The first one, entrepreneurship. The second is second chance. Third, think small first. Fourth, responsive administration. Fifth, state aid and public procurement. Number 6, access to finance, and this is something we are going to see really in deep. 7, single market. 8, skills and innovation. Number 9, environmental. 10, internationalization. These 10 principles are the most important for European SMEs development. Some of them will be very useful also for the development within your country. Number 1, entrepreneurship principle. Create an environment in which entrepreneurs and family business can thrive and entrepreneurship is rewarded. This is the community. When I spoke about community, those which are involved, this is the most common principle. Policy measures, European SMEs Week, Erasmus for young entrepreneurs, European Network of Female Entrepreneurship Ambassadors, entrepreneurship training and exchange of best practices. Now, let's see what are these measures meaning. These are the tools that the European Union has decided to utilize for developing the entrepreneurship in Europe. The SMEs Week is a totally dedicated week during which entrepreneurs, small entrepreneurs coming from different countries of the European Union are gathering, talking together, exchanging experience. The Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs is a school, a sort of university, which is teaching to young entrepreneurs how to get better, how to improve their capacities. Then you know that female entrepreneurship is quite an issue. There are special programs directed to female female which are intending to become entrepreneurs or they are already. Entrepreneurship training. Training of entrepreneurship, it is still very much considered of importance in European Union, and there are going on training programs for ameliorating the capacity of entrepreneurs of running their companies. Second chance principle. Ensure that honest entrepreneurs who have faced bankruptcy quickly get a second chance. Policy measure aim to complete all legal procedures to wind up the business in case of not fraudulent bankruptcy within a year. Ensure that restarters are treated as an equal footing with new startups. Why this? It's not uncommon, unfortunately, that an entrepreneur may fail during the process of running his own business. And it is common, quite common for bankers to blacklist those which have bankruptcy during their entrepreneur's career. I will give you only one example for letting you better understanding why it is important to give them a second chance. Mr. Thomas Edison, it seems that failed 7 times before inventing the electric lamp. If it was blacklisted, if it was no longer supported, financially supported, nowadays maybe we were not having any light in the place where we are used to live. So the European Union has decided to speed up the procedures for cleaning up the track of somebody that has a known fraudulent bankruptcy. And also they want to be sure that somebody who is intending to restart is restarting with equal opportunities given like those which are fresh starters. And this is very important. Third, think small first. The principle is design rules according to the think small first principle. The policy measures which have been adopted is reduce the administrative burden on business with a target of reduction of 25% by 2012, rigorously assess the impact of forthcoming legislative and administrative initiative on SMEs test. The message here is quite a simple one. As we have understood, and we said before that 99% of the economy is based on SMEs, we have to be sure that the legislature, the government, the regional, the national government, whenever they are thinking, they have clearly in mind that what is the possible impact towards the small enterprises. To be sure that any forthcoming initiative, legislative or administrative, is taking good care of what is the impact on the bureaucracy that is on the shoulder of SMEs. Design rules, still the same. Design rules according to the think small first principle. Use specific measures for small and micro enterprises such as derogation, transition period, and exemption. Also, another factor which is to be taken into consideration is that if you want to develop an SME market, you should give some certain advantages to those entrepreneurs which are challenging themselves in establishing a company. These advantages can be either derogation on certain requirement, at least for startups, or giving them transition period for paying taxes and some exemption from certain fiscal impact. This is important as everybody knows that when you start, you are facing the most difficult period. So at the very beginning, it is necessary really that some derogation, some benefits are offered. Otherwise, entrepreneurs, they get too much scared and they do not start up the activity. Fourth, responsive administration. The principle is make public administration responsive to SMEs' needs. The policy measures adopted in the European Union are basically reduce the level of fees requested by the member state administration for registering a business, work to reduce the time required to set up a business to less than 1 week. Okay, here quite easy to be understood. If I am a good government, if I am a good administration, and I want to give a boost to the establishment of enterprises in my region, in my country, I should be sure that it's not too much complicated to register a new business. I should be sure that not much time and not much cost is necessary. The target of the European Union at wide is that a company can be established in less than 1 week. Still, some other political measures which have been adopted is to accelerate the start of SMEs commercial operation by reducing and simplify business license and permits and promote one-stop shop solution. This, what does it mean? If I want to be effective as a government, as a regional government, I have to simplify as much as possible the bureaucracy. If I do require too many licenses, too many permits, probably a lot of possible entrepreneurs, they will give up before starting. And also, if it is possible, I have to create what is here identified as one-stop shop, meaning a single place where the entrepreneur goes and there is filling in all the forms, is getting all the license, is getting all the permission, is requested to do whatever has to be done. Not many or too many places around where the entrepreneur has to go, to call, to fix appointments, wasting time. Single entry port, where the entrepreneur goes there and does whatever is necessary. The fifth principle is state aid and public procurement. The principle is to adapt public policy tools to SMEs' needs and better use of community state aid for SMEs. The policy measures adopted in the European Union so far are reduce bureaucracy, improve transparency and information, and ensure a level of playing field for SMEs. The basic concept is that sometimes there are funds available, either local or international funds, for startups or for supporting the development of SMEs. The government should be and must be in a position to offer this opportunity to all the SMEs, making propaganda, making entrepreneurs aware that these funds are available. And also, this information should be transparent. I mean, the fact that some funds are available, especially if they are grants or loans provided by foreigners, should be known to all the entrepreneurs. This opportunity should be transparent and should be everybody sure that everybody plays on the same field. Another political measures which have been adopted to get state aid and public procurement is to refocus state aid policy to better address SMEs' needs, including the design of better targeted measures. In few words, what is the intent and what should be the intent also in your country? When aids are coming, when loans and grants are available, they should not be for every purpose. The administration should find out which are the segment of activity which can and should be helped as first. Topic number 6, access to finance. The principle is basically facilitate SMEs access to finance, in particular to risk capital and microcredit. Actual policy measures in Europe tackle the regulatory and tax obstacles that prevent venture capital funds operating into the market and ensure that the taxation of corporate profits encourage investments. Really very, very few words on this topic. Enterprises have always a starter, which is the owner of the company, and then when the company grows, in most of the time, there is the need of getting some more finance. One of the way can be having other partners which are not participating really in the productive activity of the company, but just in the financial activities. So putting some money for supporting the company. This is the so-called risk capital. But risk capital goes where there are favorable taxation and where it needs that the profit, if any profit is made, can be easily taken out from the country. I'm talking about foreign investors. Another political measures adopted in European Union for assessing finance to enterprises is make full use of funding available for development in support of SME. You could believe or not, but in European Union there are funds available to SMEs development which are not used. They are left there unutilized. And that is a pity, and believe me, sometimes does happen as before information are provided to entrepreneurs, before entrepreneurs have understood how to use the funds, the period of viability of funds is elapsed already. So I may talk and speaking about a little bit about my country, Italy. Italy is really known within the European Union for not being always capable to utilize European Union funds which are available for different purposes. So another important issue with regard to your activities is to be sure that fluent channels of information are available, that entrepreneurs get aware that there are funds available and they can apply for those funds. Number 7, single market. The principle is to help SMEs to benefit more from the opportunities offered by the single market. The policy measures adopted are promote SMEs' participation in standardization and improve SMEs' information on the use of European standards, and work on efficient, cost-effective, high-quality and legally secure patent system at European level. Now, perhaps it's too early for you to speak about the single market, meaning the neighborhood countries you have. But within Europe, you know, it's a long time that the single market policy is there, and what European Union here aims is that there are common rules approved and passed by the single government, so that something that is done or something that is produced in Greece can be immediately utilized in Spain and vice versa. Meaning that if I am an entrepreneur that has established a company in Greece and then I want to have a subsidiary company in Spain, I have not to learn too much again for understanding how to establish a company in Spain. I will utilize the standard knowledge I got in my home country, and I will go there in Spain, and being sure that the same kind of treatment will be given to me. Another political measures which has been approved is to work to make a cross-border trade easier for the SME, including throughout minimizing administrative burdens. You know, cross-border trade in Europe was and still it is very important, as the neighbor countries in Europe are very many. So most of European countries, they have at least 2 or 3, even sometimes even 4 cross-border countries with whom they have exchange of import-export. So we have to think to situations which are facilitating the possibility of a local company to export its production, also outside the country. Number 8, skill and innovation. The principle is to promote the upgrading of skills in SMEs and all forms of innovation. The policy measures which have been adopted are simplify state aid rules for member states to support research, development, and innovation. With regard to you and your country situation, the message is SMEs are the starters. SMEs have then to be supported in their investment they are making in research and innovation. As the development of these two items, research and innovation, are the basis for the development and the life of SME within any country. Another measures is the development of a cluster strategy, including initiative to encourage transnational cluster cooperation and taking measures to encourage greater participation of SME in innovation cluster. You know, in Europe, where SMEs are historical, where SME, as we have seen, represent 99%, it's good to think them in terms of cluster, group of companies, small companies doing the same kind of activities, which can exchange their expertise. They should exchange their experience. And even on a transnational way, meaning that, you know, borders are so close. There are, in certain cases, also common languages. I'm thinking to Austria with Germany. They both speak German. So it's quite easy nowadays to think that the experience or some experience made by SMEs in a country can be of interest or could be shared with somebody else living and staying in another country. And this is what they are targeting. especially in the field of innovation. If some good innovative experience have been made in a country, they should be available to other similar entrepreneurs which are in the same area of business. Okay, there are special institutions, and here is the policy measures, encourage any initiative participation to SMEs in the framework of activities carried out by the European Institution of Innovative and Technology. European Union has established this institution, which is the engine, really the promoter of innovation and development of technologies. So if I have to think to your country and your region, I have in mind that sooner or later a similar organization which is going to combine the experience made by all entrepreneurs in the country will be collected there and made available to the others. Number 9, environment. The principle: enable SMEs to turn environmental challenges into opportunity. Policy measures which have been adopted develop new forms of support for innovative startups and SMEs in the field of eco-innovation, provide incentive for eco-efficient business and product. You know, this is something very, very common, is very useful. Everybody knows that eco-business, eco-economy can lead to a better life for everybody. So, as we said before and as we saw, if I have to support initiative, I will support firstly those which are in the field of eco-innovation and which will result eco-efficient for pollution reason, for saving energy, for really making everybody's life better. Another policy measure is to make full use of the funds for the support of eco-friendly products and process in the SMEs. This is another important issue within the European Union, but not only in the European Union. There are funds which are available for the development of eco-friendly products and other kind of process like zero-kilometer production, meaning that in order to reduce pollution from trucks, engine, I have to be, or I should think, to the possible ways of reducing the distances between where a product is produced and where a certain product is consumed. And this is an important business area to be developed in any country. Number 10, quite an important issue, internationalization. The principle is encourage and support SMEs to benefit from the growth of markets outside the European Union. Policy measure here is actively seek the opening up of third countries' market, in particular in developing and advanced developing economies. Now, nowadays I have not to tell you that the performance of the general performance of European Union economies is quite poor. I think that the better performer nowadays is Germany, but the performance of Germany is not even nearby 1% growth, and most of the other they have 0 point something, if not less than 0. So there is a general trend to go outside Europe, targeting what are normally called the BRIC countries, plus South Africa, plus Turkey. I mean, those economies which are in a better shape. And this is important as when an entrepreneur is starting up or is running his own SME, should be really you should be thinking really since the very beginning, not only to what is the possible market demand of its region or its country, but also to the neighborhoods, to the other possibility which are given to him to export his product. As the future of many European companies is linked and will be linked to their capacity to export. And I do think that in many other emerging markets, like the one where you are located, can be really good to think to the potential of what is outside since the very beginning. Another policy measure is encourage coaching of SMEs by large companies in order to bring them to international market. Here, you know, SMEs by definition, we saw at the very beginning of our lessons, is a company which has less than 50 people. In some cases, if not the most cases we saw, they have even less than 10 people. So sometimes to be sure that all the competences, all the knowledge that is needed for going outside are available inside the company is not easy to be taught. And in some cases will be not existing. But if these 19 to 99% of companies, they are going outside the country, together with the big, the 10% or the 0.9% of big companies which have hundreds, if not thousands of employees, and they are structured to go in difficult markets, in distant market, can be convenient for SME to be together with them as supplier of these big companies and going abroad with them. Now, what will be the policy of European Union toward the forthcoming years? The main focus was and remains structured around certain area, and precisely the following. SME financial need, which is still the issue. How to cope with the growing financial needs of SMEs. Market access for SMEs. We saw before that SMEs, they have and they need to be accompanied towards markets. SMEs contribute to resource efficient economy. The role of SMEs in the ecosystem and the eco-economy is really great. And European Union wants to support all the SMEs which are really contributing to this process. Entrepreneurship, job creation, and inclusive growth. This is another tremendous issue which it is of great importance also for you. We have seen that unemployment is quite a phenomenon nowadays in Europe. The degree of unemployment depends from country to country, but the general one is around 8%. Then there are countries with 11 and some others even with 16% unemployment rate. Everybody is sure that SMEs and the capacity they have of creating jobs is the challenge. And also the capacity they have to create jobs for the categories, the weak categories, female, people which are having certain kind of handicaps, and people which are elder, both sides, the too young, the too old people. I mean, all these categories, they will depend very much on the capacity of entrepreneurs to create SMEs, and through the SMEs creating jobs and in a short period of time. I think that also in your country, that is a relatively fast-growing country, it is very important that SMEs are permitted to create jobs. And I thank you very much for your time.